Assalamualaikum. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now let's deal with another interesting case study, which is about Walter Dinivan case and Madam Jatkar case. Since two cases was almost similar, that's why I combined both them in one video. Let's discuss. First of all, we will discuss about the Walter Dinivan case. It's about a fairly wealthy man named Walter Dinivan who was found unconscious at his home, and his head been bashed so that his skull was crushed. He had been taken to the hospital but died there without regaining consciousness. Means he was found almost dead in his home and alone. So there was no eyewitness, no any witness of that particular crime, and no information about the criminal, about the murderer, so that forensic investigators had to rely upon forensic evidences, only and only forensic evidences. Not that point. Means no witness of that crime. Investigators had to rely upon forensic evidences. Then, what about the search of crime scene? The crime scene has been searched and investigated properly. Then it was found that valuables from safe and pockets of Dinivan were gone. That means no proper valuable, no valuables were there in the safe of Walter Dinivan. They all were gone, and they all were gone from the pocket of Walter Dinivan. Then it was clearly determined that it is the case of robbery. Then another most interesting discoveries. Let's see. Crumbled up brown paper. Suspect used to hold the murder paper, and also cigarette butts at floor. That means on the basis of that particular forensic evidences, the police pictured a scenario. What was the scenario? Let's see, moving to the next slide. They pictured that the murderer and Walter Dinivan had been talking, smoking cigarette, and conversation had escalated into an argument, fight, and that ultimately led to the murder of Walter Dinivan by murderer. Then, what was the next scenario? Police inquiry led the police to suspect a local man named Joseph Williams. जो जोसेफ विलियम था, क्योंकि वो ज़्यादा रिच नहीं था, लेकिन सडन उसके पास इतना पैसा आया कि जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा अपने पैसे को खर्च करने लगा. देन पुलिस सस्पेक्ट दैट द मनी was now flush into William's pocket was from Dinivan. Then let's see. Since that was the year 1939 and few years before, an interesting discovery has been made. Not that discovery. The blood group can be determined from saliva, but the weak point of that discovery was it's only true for majority. It has many great exceptions, and that exceptions cannot be neglected. Then, although police extracted saliva from cigarette butts, and then they determined the blood group, which was AB. That the blood group from the saliva extracted from cigarette butts was AB. But what blood group was Joseph Williams? Sorry, that is the slight mistake from my side. Sorry, guys. Then, planning of police officer. Police officer observed that William liked to drink. Although police officer was very clever man, so that he observed that William liked to drink. So when William went to the pub, police officer followed him and offered him more and more drink, so that he can collect saliva of Joseph William from the glasses. Then he collected saliva and sent it to the laboratory to determine the blood group of Joseph William. Then that blood group was AB. Interesting. And that means William was arrested and taken to the court because both the blood groups has been matched. Then now, since he has been taken to the court and now the function was upon jury, and we know the structure of jury. If you want to know the structure of jury, then you have to see my videos on judging jury system and judge system. Okay. Then defense counsel was very clever man, and he found the weak point of that evidences, which was saliva. Now note that point. He pointed that blood is blood and saliva is just a fancy word for spit. So according to the defense counsel, it goes against common sense that you can tell the blood group from a piece of spit, and he was very persuasive, and jury didn't believe that forensic evidences, and they returned a verdict of not guilty, and Williams walked free. Not the weak point of that technology. Okay, that is important, very important point. In year 1939, since technology was not as much there, so that jury rejected that evidence's saliva. And now I have a question for you guys. Let me know in the comment below that what is the technology nowadays so that saliva becomes a very, very, very important forensic evidences nowadays. Okay, let me know. Then now what? Since Williams walked free, then now what? Confession of Williams. But when William walked free and he went to pub, because we know that he liked drinks. He went to pub, got drunk, and told the whole story to a journalist. But journalist cannot publish. He couldn't publish that story because there was no witness of that whole confession, so that he can be sued for libel. So the story only came out years after Joseph Williams' death, and he didn't sentenced to the jail and for his heinous crime. Then now moving to the next case, which is very interesting case, Madam Jadkar and Myang Singh case. In Singapore, 1996, a lady named Madam Singh found murdered, killed by being stabbed in neck. Just like Dinivan case, the finding was from the crime scene. The findings was cigarette butts at crime scene. But since that was the year 1996, technology was not there to do so much, so the evidences were stored. Okay, note that point. Evidences were stored, and after almost 10 years, in 2005, the evidences was dug out of storage. Saliva was extracted from that cigarette butts. Now, what is the important discovery? The important discovery was DNA can be determined from saliva. Okay, note that point. That is a very important point. DNA can be determined from the saliva and was poured into. Then the extracted saliva from that cigarette butts, DNA was determined and was poured into National DNA database, and out popped this name of Kenneth. Since he was already in jail at that particular time, so it was very easy to find him out, and so he was sentenced to an additional prison for this case. Now what is interesting in both the cases? The conclusion is, in case of Walter Dinivan, the evidences was cigarette butts. In case of Madam Singh, the evidences was cigarette butts. But in case of Walter Dinivan, the evidences was not accepted by jury. But in case of Madam Singh, the evidences was accepted by jury because of technology. Okay, because forensic evidences are only one part of the system and police inquiry is another part. So all such parts must be considered. All the parts plays an important role in the case of forensic sciences. Okay. Now let me know about your feedbacks about this video in the comment below. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.